So I completely forgot this happened to me, but when I was about 7, I got locked in my Baptist church bathroom. Now, this was my grandfather's church, so it's a whole lot of, let me get into. Now, I'm from Louisiana, and I'm not gonna lie, if your family is very religious, 9 times out of 10 the house is gonna be haunted. And that's just, I don't know why, but it's like most of our grandparents' houses is haunted. So with that being said, like, we had a lot of experiences when we were children. I had a lot of young children in my family, so we all used to always stay at my grandparents' house, and we all have a story in itself about the house. But keep in mind, this happened at the church. Now, we used to go to a church that was almost 2 hours away. Yes, my grandpa owned the church, and it was really just like a family church. It was the same people that lived in the neighborhood that went to the church. It was only like maybe like 10 members, if that. And this was a huge church. So with that being said, 10 people in a huge church, we rarely ever wanted to go anywhere by ourselves, but we had to go to the bathroom. This bathroom always terrified me. Why? Because you had to walk through 2 doors, and it was a long, old-fashioned hallway with no windows, just pictures on the walls and angels everywhere. So this particular time, I did not want to go to the bathroom. I don't know why. On the way there, I drank so much, but soon as service started, you know they're playing instruments, I had to go to the bathroom. So I get up, and I'm walking to the restroom. I go through the double doors. I have this eerie feeling the whole time that I'm walking down this hallway to get to the bathroom. And keep in mind, I'm the only one back here because it's only like 15 people there, maybe. So nobody else had to go to the bathroom when church just started. So I'm walking through all of this by myself, and I'm already feeling like very, very uncomfortable. So I go into the restroom. I'm doing my, my dues. I'm washing my hand. Now, keep in mind, the restroom door did not ever close it didn't close like it was supposed to. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but yes, the door never closed like it was supposed to. With that being said, the door barely locked. Okay. Now, yes, this was a very, very old church. Don't get me wrong, but this had never happened before. Literally, the door was so old that it didn't even secure all the way. So for it to be jammed like that, it didn't make sense to me. Now, what I didn't tell you guys was this restroom had 2 stalls. Why did one of the stalls door start to move open? Yeah, it was an old-fashioned one. You know, the ones that make the noise when they move because it has like the metal wire it started to move. And I hollered to the point where someone came and got that goddamn door open. Not only after that did I not go to the bathroom anymore, I didn't even drink anything on the way to church. I was thirsty, and Baptist service is a long service. I would not drink anything the whole service to not go to that bathroom. But the scariest part about it all, after that incident, the lights blunk every time a child went to the bathroom.
Alafia! My name is Oshun. On this channel, we uncover the creepiest, most unusual haunted TikToks the internet has to offer for entertainment purposes. Y'all are my soul tribe. Tribe is with a Y because the Y is for you, and that's because I love you so freaking much. I appreciate you. Please like, comment, and subscribe, honey, to the Soul Tribe for your weekly dose of supernatural coming to you every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. Now let's get to this next video.
Bet, I'm back with another spooky story. But this one's a little bit different. Have you guys ever heard about Erica, Bamboo's wife, the lady who worked for the devil for 18 years? So Erica was born in Kenya, and she remembers growing up that her father was very financially stable, so her family never had to worry about money. She always had everything she needed as a child. Around 3 years old, her grandmother came to visit, and everything would just go to shit. So Erica was born to born-again Christian parents. However, her dad's side of the family were a bunch of sorcerers. That means his mom, including his sister, his grandmother. Basically, Erica was the 4th generation sorcerer. And every new generation is supposed to be more powerful than the previous generation. So Erica's parents, being born-again Christians, would only expose her to Christianity and God. However, around 3 years old, when the dad's mother, her grandmother, came to visit, everything went to hell about 2 months after that. Well, they winded up having to move from Kenya to Uganda. And at this point, even though they were living separately, they were more so under the grandmother's care because the grandmother would take care of a lot of bills. And the grandmother would also spend a lot of time with Erica, which was completely normal, and the parents never suspected anything of it, even though the grandmother would give Erica these herbs and these medicines and things like that. They always assumed it was for the best. And as Erica is growing up, she's getting deeper into Christianity, and that is bothering her grandmother because she is supposed to be the most powerful sorcerer of the family. So one day she decided that she would take Erica and she would then initiate her into Satanism. Erica was just 8 years old. So her grandmother took her to this gravesite where the grandmother's mother was buried, and she made them spend the night in the cemetery. So she laid on top of the grandmother's grave, and she also made Erica lay on top of the grandmother's grave. They spent the night sleeping in the cemetery on top of the grandmother's grave. Yes, she was a sorcerer. And that day was the first time that she would then travel through the spirit world. She left her body, her soul left her body, and she started traveling around through the spirit world. There she met her ancestors, the ones that came before her, and the sorcerers, obviously a line of sorcerers. She met some uncles, she met some cousins, and, grandmothers. And she also met the angel of death. Erica really wanted to stress that you are not your physical body. Your physical body is simply an instrument to move you through the physical world. However, there is an entire spiritual world that exists. And in the spiritual world is where everything begins and ends. The spiritual world moves much faster than the physical world. She describes the speed of the spirit world to be like thunder and lightning. Your soul is the real you, and it is a replica of your physical body. Well, in the spirit world, she would meet the angel of death, who gave her an assignment. She said some of her assignments included, but not limited to, causing accidents, breaking up marriages, and disturbing ministry. She said when she woke up, she was obviously petrified, and she returned to her parents, and she returned to her life, and at that point, she started going to this school. And before the initiation, she was performing really well in school. But then when she returned to school, she started just acting up. And she was not the one to be played with, because the second she realized what she was able to do, she would cause absolute havoc to anybody who messed with her. Her teachers. If any of her teachers pointed her out or tried to embarrass her, she said later at night, she would go to sleep and she would allow her soul to leave her body, and she would visit those teachers. And in the spirit realm, she would fight them. They would be completely unaware, just getting beat up by this girl. And the next day they would wake up and they would have swollen fists and like marks on their bodies, as if like they actually went through a fight, as if it wasn't just a dream. So students and teachers really started to become aware of Erica. And at that point, she had left that school and went over to another school called Victoria something. This is still in Uganda. Now, this is when Erica's auntie, her dad's sister, would step into the picture. Her auntie, a sorcerer, was just not feeling the idea that Erica was growing up in this Christian home and worshiping God. This would seriously take away from who Erica is meant to be, and she was not having it. So she somehow managed to convince Erica's parents to let Erica come live with them. And at that point, it wasn't that hard to convince them, because Erica was becoming a troubled kid. And over at her auntie's house is where she was introduced to circular music, to alcohol, to, partying, and all the lit things about life. Things that she hadn't experienced when she was living with her parents. And her auntie would take Erica deeper into Satanism. She went on to have an entire journey where she was working with the actual devil itself for 18 years, where she completed many assignments. And she says she also met a lot of people's favorite celebrities. And she said that she understood that really amazing musicians and singers were either from the kingdom of God or from the kingdom of darkness. She also says that a lot of stuff that we use on earth, like a lot of products and even technology, come from underneath Lake Victoria. Well, if you guys haven't heard this story, because I'm not sure, let me know and I will definitely continue this story. It would definitely be in multiple parts because this is a long story. This is 18 years. I watched the entire hour interview and went on a deep dive, so you don't have to. And I'm probably gonna post them on my YouTube.
Yes, per usual, go follow our girl. But I completely believe what she was talking about. That story was crazy. I definitely want to hear more of those stories. Next video.
Okay, so I got another creepy story. This one's about my baby sister. Okay, so this happens in Mobile, Alabama in 2005, July 2005. Okay, so my baby sister was a teenager at the time. So my mom, husband had passed away earlier July 2005. So it was like 2 weeks later. So my sister was in the kitchen washing dishes, and she found an old flip phone in a drawer. So my sister picked up the phone, and she was asking my mom where the charger was, because my mom was like, I don't know, that phone been there for the longest. So like I said, it was dead. And so my sister was like, I got to find a charger. And so she just threw the phone on the counter beside her while she was washing dishes. And so while my sister was, like I said, washing dishes, she heard the phone vibrate. She stopped. She was like, what the heck? She looked over. The phone was vibrating, y'all. And my mom's husband, his picture like just popped up on the little screen of the flip phone. And my sister's like, oh my God. Now mind you, the phone dead. So it scared her so bad. She took off running to my mom's room, told my mom. So my mom came back up like, what the hell? So my mom gets the phone dead. My mom looking at him like, girl, ain't nothing wrong with that. So she just folded the phone up, threw it in the drawer. And my sister was like, oh, them dishes ain't getting washed today. So, she went to bed. So my brother came to visit my mom. Him and my god brother, they had to help my mom move some stuff around. And this was still like in July. It was probably like the end of July. And so my brother, while he was in the kitchen, he heard like a vibration in the drawer. He was like, what is that? And it just kept vibrating. And my brother pulled the drawer open. It was the phone. Mind you, the phone dead. And my brother's like, who phone this is? And my mom was like, that phone been dead for months. And so my brother said, couldn't be. He flipped the phone up. And guess what? It was my mom's husband face in the phone again. And my brother's like, what the hell? And my mom was like, oh my God, that phone been dead. So my brother just snapped the phone and threw it away. He was like, no, we ain't playing those games. That was scary. So my mom neighbors came and asked my mom one day, and it was a husband and wife. So they asked my mom, they said, didn't you say your husband passed away a couple of weeks ago? She was like, yeah. They was like, no, because we saw him walking up the driveway, because he used to smoke. They said, we saw him walking up and down the driveway with a cigarette. My mom's like, no, y'all didn't see him. They was like, yes, we saw him. And so my sister said she woke up one morning and she saw a shadow. It looked just like, she said, the curtains were closed so you can see like a shadow of somebody, because the sun was coming up with somebody sitting on the porch smoking. And she said, I kid you not. It looked like, my mom's husband. She said, freaked her out so bad. She just took back off running and told my mom, like, that house, my mom must have stayed there. Man, it was built on a cemetery, an old slave cemetery. And I got to give y'all some creepy stories about that. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Bye.
Hey y'all, so I'm back with another creepy story. So this story is Talicia's third story I probably told. Okay, so this story takes place, now one of Talicia's stories I was telling about her daughter Anaya, how she was seeing like a ghost or something about the little girl. She was coming off the school bus and the girl she saw half her face messed up or whatever, and she was playing in the backyard. Okay, so this is Talicia, another story. Okay, so Talicia was saying that at the time, this happened in 2007 in South Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, and she had 3 kids at the time. And so her 2 oldest kids, her and her husband Maurice, was getting the 2 oldest kids ready to go to Fayetteville, North Carolina, to go with their dad. So Anaya was going to stay the summer with her and her Maurice. So she said while the kids was in the bed, sleep, her and her husband was packing up the clothes, the older 2 kids' clothes, packing their stuff up for the summer, because they was going to be with their dad for the whole summer. So she said while they was getting them ready, Anaya came in the room and she was telling her mom, she's like, these 3 little girls keep waking me up. I'm tired. They won't leave me alone. I keep telling them I'm tired, but they just want to play. So Talicia said she knew that her daughter, what she can see. So she said at first, maybe it's her imagination, but she know her daughter. And so she decided she'll go in the room with her daughter and see. She said she didn't see nothing. And so she told her daughter, I don't see nothing. Maybe they're gone. Just go back to sleep. And so she said that her daughter Anaya asked her, can she leave the lights on? She's like, sure, baby, I got you. Left the lights on. So Talicia said she went back in the room with Maurice. They still packing his kids' clothes. And so she said when she went up front in the living room to make sure they didn't leave nothing behind, she heard Anaya in the room screaming, leave me alone. I told y'all I'm tired. I don't want to play. So she said she went in the room to see what was going on. And she asked Anaya what's going on. She said, these 3 little girls won't leave me alone. So of course she looking around. She didn't see no 3 little girls. She said, I've been playing with them all day. They still want to play. I'm tired. I just want to sleep. So she said, so she knew Anaya wasn't joking. She wasn't making this up. So she told Anaya, just go get in the bed, just go in her bedroom and just lay in her bed while her and Maurice was still packing up stuff. And so she said while Anaya was in the bed, she was telling the little girls, hey, leave her alone. She's tired. She don't want to play. Leave her alone. So she said the next morning they got on up, and she said she looked around everything. She had to clean her house up and everything. So everything was in order. Nothing was out of place. So it's her and Maurice, you know, Anaya, they took the older kids. They met the dad halfway to North Carolina. It was like a 6-hour trip, so they met him halfway. So she said when they came back home, she said, I think Anaya wasn't there. She said, I don't know if Anaya spent the night at her grandmother's house or somebody's house, but just they dropped off somewhere. But it was just her and Maurice. They came back home, and when they came back home, the TV was on, and the TV was on. It was a cartoon on, and they saw 3 little chairs in front of the TV. And she said Maurice was like, what? So she was like, you know what? She said she was freaking out. Maurice like, you know what? If the other kids, they probably did it before they left. She said she looking at him like, you know damn well them kids didn't do it because I had my house straightened up. But she said, you know, I guess she didn't want to scare him. So they went ahead, put everything back up. And they, you know, went on by their day, and they went to bed later on that night. She said and they woke up the next morning. Guess what? 3 little chairs, once again, lined up in front of the TV, cartoon on. She said Maurice by this time was scared. He was freaking out, was like, oh no, we got to move. What the hell is going on? Because there's no kids in the house. He said, what the hell? So she said, and throughout the day, you can hear the kids' toys coming on and off. You know, you can hear girls laughing, little girls laughing. And she said the activity was getting more and more frequent, and you can just hear, like, the little girls didn't care who heard them at this point. I guess they said them kids wasn't home. They're gonna make themselves known. So she said both of them were scared, so she called her grandmother, and she told her grandmother, hey, I got a situation going on. Anaya keeps saying she saw 3 little girls. I need you to help me out. Her grandmother said, okay, I'm gonna say a prayer. She said her grandmother was a prayer warrior. Prayer warrior. Anyway, so my tongue get twisted. But anyway, so she said that her grandmother said, I'm gonna pray for you, but what I need you to do, I need you to put a horseshoe over your door, and I need you to open up the book to Psalms 23, and something about a dime. I think she said put the dime in the book. I think that's what she said. But anyway, so she said she did that. She got a horseshoe, hung it over the door, and she said she got the book of the Bible, opened up to Psalms 23, and she started saying whatever her grandmother told which verse to say. And she said after that, she said that, oh, I just seen an orb on this camera. I ain't see nothing in front of me. But anyway, so she said she told her grandmother that after that, what she did, what her grandmother said, she said she didn't see nothing anymore. And yeah, she said everything was happy. It's like a breath of fresh air after she did all that. So she said they did end up moving from that apartment, but before they moved, they didn't experience anything else supernatural in that house. So yeah, so that's Talisha's scary story about these 3 little girls. And I got some more I'll be back to tell. All right, bye y'all.
That was a great story. I love Talisha's stories, whoever that is. I think that's her sister, maybe. I don't know. But great stories, great stories. I definitely seen the orb that she was talking about. I didn't see it in front of her. It looked like it was like behind her. I don't know. Let me know if y'all seen that. But I love these stories. Next story.
I was forced to pay $1,600 for these braids. Let me tell you a story. So I need to get my hair done. I usually do it myself. I don't have the time or the energy. Gotta find someone. It's LA. Hair is stupidly expensive, so I go to an African braid shop. I talk to the owner, show her the braids that I want. She tells me $1,600. I said, you're fucking crazy. I didn't say that, but I was like, nah. We go back and forth, settle on a style. Mid-length, regular, small French curl box braids. 10 a.m. tomorrow. Perfect. Tomorrow comes around. I get to the salon. It's 10:12. I'm late. She says, no worries. I walk up to the door. It's closed. I let her know. She says the owners have to come and open the door. I thought you were the owner. The braiders see me, come out of the car. We greet each other. Everything is normal. It's fine. We get inside. The place is really nice. The manager lady has already told the stylist what to do, but I reconfirm with them one more time. Mid-back, regular, small French curl box braids. One person is parting, one person is braiding. They're having a bit of a disagreement over the parting size. I had later come to find out that their confusion was because their manager is incompetent and sent one braider the super tiny micro braids that we did not book, and the other braider the regular small ones. She braids one hair, asked me if I want to do boho. I said I didn't book boho. She said boho would look really good. I said I didn't book boho. She said just do boho, you can add it in later. I said tell your manager that you want me to do boho. She said I told the manager. I said I'm cool with paying for boho, might as well just add it now. Mind you, the price for my braids is $550. $550 for the style and an extra $300 if you want to add an additional braider. I said that's stupid, but I'm gonna do it. She said it would only take 4 to 6 hours with 2 braiders. I said cool. She said cool. Here we go. 7 hours go by. Like, what is going on? I'm feeling in my head like, what are y'all doing? And then I get a call. Whoop, whoop. It's the sound of the police. Not really. The manager is blowing up my phone. I don't answer. The stylists are whispering behind me. Weird. She starts blowing up my phone, talking crazy. Why did you walk into a business and decide you can just do whatever you want? Why are you trying to scam us? I had to cancel a bunch of appointments because of you. I have to be able to pay my stylists. I have to pay them extra now. You're doing a completely different style. Not what we booked. Clearly there's been a miscommunication. But she is not having that. She's like, pay an additional $800 now. The same price it would have been when you wanted that original style. I said, what? And then the energy just got really weird in the room. Very hostile, very just like, we trapped you, bitch, we trapped you. Further context, she never sent the message to the manager saying that the boho style was added. Context, the other braider superseded the main braider and made the parts smaller than what was the standard for that braid shop. Not as small as the micro braids, but smaller than what they were supposed to be. Further context, they lied and said I walked in, asked for extra small, extra long, boho French comb box braids. That's not true, we confirm. Now, a thing about me, I'm very non-confrontational. I'm very, very much a let's mediate the situation. Meow. I came to that braiding shop alone. I was with two braiders where clearly they were talking behind my back. I'm in a shop that isn't even owned by them. I have the braid shop manager screaming at me that I'm a scammer. And in this situation, I feared they were going to call the police. And the smart thing to do would have been to leave. Unfortunately, I did not leave. Because the nature of my job, I am constantly going to events, constantly having to film. I needed my hair done. Context, I had an event the next morning at 10:30 a.m. I was not going to do my hair myself. It was already 6-something p.m. They were about halfway done with my head and I needed my hair done. I did it! I paid the $800 because I was stressed and I was scared. I know, it was stupid. I should not have done it because I realized this is probably a scam, but I said to myself, Elise, fix it. I gotta work on that. The rest of my time in that salon, weird, awkward. Did I get my hair finished? Yes. What time? Fucking 10:30 p.m. I got there at 10:12 a.m., left at 10:30 p.m., 12 fucking hours. I get home, don't even look at my hair, I go to sleep. Now here's where it gets stupid. Something's wrong with this. I wake up, I see my hair, I look at my middle part, I scream. Ah! She's gone and put trapezoids in my head because now you're just playing in my head. This isn't fair. And so I sent a very long message pretty much saying, you are a scammer, refund me $600. I would have let it go if everything with the braids had been like ideal, but after seeing that parting and then seeing that the size of my parts weren't even close to that of the initial $1,600 style, give me my money! And the manager made every excuse in the book. Apologized for the middle parting, offered services to have the stylist fix it. I said, woman, what? Said the stylist could come to your house and do it at your house. Are you... I said, ma'am, respectfully, why would I ever be interested in having any of your stylists or you do anything anywhere near my head ever again? Me and my friend went to her Google page to see if this behavior was normal. Turns out it was. Mind you, when I initially went to their page, they had a 4.6 rating. Majority of the reviews were really good. The pictures on the front side of Google were normal. She does not have a website, so I assumed everything would be great. It's an African braiding shop after all. I'm used to it. I went back and forth with this woman for hours, and I didn't want to do it to her, but I eventually hit her with the, I'm a lawyer and I have a very large social media following. That one scared her. She became very apologetic, kept saying that I would refund you if the stylist would give me back the money, but they're not willing to give back the money. They said they'll just redo the style. I said, in all fairness, your stylists are completely incompetent. They clearly don't know what they're doing. Also, you do not vet these people because I learned that one of the stylists wasn't even an employee of her, just a random person that the other stylist found to come and do the hair with her. Respectfully, my lady, get the fuck out. Just give me my money. Then they started calling me out my name, saying that I was a liar, saying that because I'm a lawyer, I expect to be refunded, saying that I think that I'm better than them. And I said, oh, okay. I told her I would take further legal action and I would be posting a video that basically disparages the company. And here I am telling you guys about my experience, yet I have not named the company for one specific reason, and that's because I do not trust TikTok. People on this app are very scary, and I do not want anyone doxing anyone or doing anything crazy. However, I will be leaving her a very scathing review. Now, the hair is very cute, but it's not worth $1,600. And I should not have been made to pay because your stylist lied and made a mistake, and you did not know how to manage them and tell them what to do. That has nothing to do with me. In hindsight, I wish I hadn't paid. I wish I had just left, figured my hair out on my own like I usually do, but I had paid for a service. I just wanted to receive that service. I just wanted things to go simple and normal. But often that just seems to not be the case for me because of the way that I am as a person, and I need to work on being more assertive. I had to redo my middle part, and now I'm going through the bottoms of each one of these hairs because didn't secure the ends properly. So some of the boho pieces at the bottom are literally just like slipping out, and it is ridiculous. This woman has demonstrated this type of behavior on multiple accounts, so I'm sure karma is going to come for her, and my review is going to be sickening. Anyway, that's my story. It's not even human hair. Like, what is going on?
Well, that's her story. Yeah, the fudge? I would be pissed. That the hair texture looks horrible, first of all, so she messed up there. on her end. But the braiders, yeah, I would be pissed, honey. I would not have paid. I would have tried to walk out, but then I would have thought about, like, my hair needs done. I don't know how I would have handled that. But yeah, a lawyer definitely would have been involved, and social media blasting definitely been involved. She was good on that. I'm correct on that, because I would have done the same thing. That's horrible. But I don't like that hair. Like, that hair was trash. That hair alone is only going to last, if 30 days at most. Regardless of how you take care of it, that hair is trash.
Okay, guys, another creepy story. Okay, this story takes place here in Montgomery, Alabama, and this was when I used to stay in an apartment complex. Okay, so me and my kids, and so I had just got a divorce and just moved into my own place. And so me and my kids, we was doing our own thing. And so I noticed one morning, every time I wake up, everything in the kitchen would be turned upside down. Salt and pepper shaker, all the canned goods, all the boxes of cereal, everything in the kitchen cabinets was turned upside down. So I was all the food, and I was telling my kids, hey, y'all need to stop flipping everything upside down. They was like, we're not doing it. My kids, they was all elementary age at the time. And I was like, well, who doing it? They was like, we're not doing it. I said, well, nobody in the house but you, me and y'all, so y'all got to be doing it. So I made them come in the kitchen with me, and we flipped everything back up right. So the next morning, I woke up again, and my salt and pepper shaker, they was like this funny diamond shape at the top, so you really couldn't stand it up, but somebody had poured a bunch of salt and pepper and propped it up like it was so crazy on the side. It was so crazy. It was flipped upside down. So I was fussing my kids like, how the hell y'all did this? They was like, Mama, we didn't do it. So now I'm fussing, go back in the kitchen. Everything's still turned upside down. So I was like, y'all better stop. So I said, I'm going to whoop y'all next time. I'm just, my last warning. Don't do it again. They was like, Mama, we ain't do it. So they hollered, Mama, we ain't do it. I said, well, who else did it? So I was telling my twin sister about it. I called my twin. I was like, girl, something. I said, my kids getting on my nerve. And my sister said, girl, something strange going on in my house as well, because she was still in Mobile. And I was like, what? She was like, girl, she said, I'm going to call you back tonight. Answer the phone. I was like, okay. She said, it's going to be late. I was like, okay. So she called me probably around 11:30, and you can hear this man snoring so loud. So I'm thinking it was her husband. I was like, girl, tell him to stop. Damn, he's so loud. Roll him over. She said, it's not him. I said, well, who in the hell is it? Because I knew it wasn't her son, because he was a child. He was like elementary child. He was like my kid's age, and her daughter was younger. And I said, well, who in the hell in your house? She said, nobody's in my house. And you can hear this man snoring so loud. And I said, oh, hell no. I said, somebody in the attic or something? And she said, I don't think so, because, she was a housewife at the time. She said, no. She said, it always happens around this time. I said, you might need to call the police and have the police look. So she did. Police did a thorough search, because they heard the snoring too. Couldn't explain it. They heard and left. And so I was like, oh, hell no. So I was telling my sister, I said, girl, something strange. You just, every day I wake up and just stuff flip over in my kitchen. And my sister said, you might got something in your house like I do. I said, shit, I hope not. So I woke up the third night I woke up. So after me and my sister got off the phone, I had woke up and I went to go wake my kids up. Okay, so this is about the end. So I'm doing part 2.
So a lot of you guys commented stating that you wanted to hear about the story about me seeing a 12-foot dinosaur when I lived in California. And a lot of you guys said I was on shrooms, I was on drugs, or whatever the case may be. I was completely sober. And I had insomnia for 5 freaking years to prove that that was real. I wish I was on drugs. I wish it was weed. I wish it was something, because it would have made my life a lot easier to deal with what I saw. Till this day, it's like one of those things where I was like, this isn't real, because your whole reality of what you thought was real is not. So let's get into it, because this is my story, and I don't care if you don't believe it. I don't care if you don't think it's true. At the end of the day, I know what I saw. I know what I experienced, and I had to suffer through it, and I had to deal with it for myself. So whether you want to believe it or not, that's completely up to you. I'm just telling you what I've experienced and what I know to be true. And I'm pretty much out of the matrix, and I interact with these beings all the time. So at this point, it's not anything to me. So it kind of started where I wanted to be a director. I wanted to produce my own TV shows, so I moved to California. My cousin was also out in California, and she wanted to be like an actor, and I wanted to be a director. And when I was out there, I had this one friend who was always telling me about like the reptilians or the draconians of the 12-foot dinosaurs that I'm talking about. And you know, I was like, okay, like, all right, Crazy, I'm gonna call him Crazy. So Crazy would always be talking about these reptilian beings and how California is super weird and how he grew up and there's like shapeshifters and demons and all of these things. And coming from the culture, I'm Haitian, we hear about that stuff. Like, we hear about crazy stuff, mermaids, all that stuff. Like, yeah, I know that to be true, but like at the end of the day, like, those are stories, right? Like, you don't really, like, when you don't see it for yourself, they're just stories. So like, people are making stuff up. So when he was telling me them stuff, I was just like, all right. Okay, Crazy. So I didn't think anything of it. So one day I'm in my class, and my teacher, who I follow on Instagram, and she's completely a reptile. But anyways, that's a whole nother story, and I'm not trying to put her on blast, but she is out here, and she just in denial of who she is. But anyways, back to the story. So she is talking to us, and she's telling us how like she grew up with her brother, and you know, like, it just sounded like the way her story sounded was like her and her brother had like this perfect childhood. And anyone who grew up with siblings, you know your childhood wasn't perfect. And it was just like her and her brothers had like the best relationship. It was like the best life. And like, you know, like, I called bullshit on it. Like, my mom was like, something's not right with this story. Like, however she's describing her relationship and her upbringing with her brother just don't sound right. Like, that's just bullshit. I have siblings and we fight all the time. And all I know, it was like, once my mind had like caught bullshit on her story, I just remember looking over, and I kid you not, Father will strike me down right now if I'm lying. She was a hologram. She was a hologram, and all I knew is that I was seeing like the fabric of my reality. I kid you not, I was like witnessing two realities happen at the same time. And the only way I could explain like the two realities is as if you see a shadow and then you see your human form. And it was like the human form was a hologram, but the shadow was the actual being. But it wasn't a shadow, it was a dinosaur. And all I remember is like looking up in my mind like, oh, this is bullshit, like she's lying. And there was like a snake eye, and it just darted to me. Like, it didn't even move its head. It didn't move its head at all. Like, all you saw was a fucking slit eye, and it just darted to me. And you could see like scales. So when I broke the veil, I only saw the eyes. And all I remember was just the eyes darting itself at me. And I was so shocked that my reaction was laughter, because all I could think about was my friend who was crazy was right. So when this entity, meanwhile, the entity, whatever that thing was, is looking directly at me with that one eye, because I only see the side of it, and the hologram of the human that is taking form as is looking at the classroom. Now, I'm looking around like, do nobody not see this entity that's essentially behind the hologram, like literally behind the hologram? And I'm just sitting there like, I just laughed. I was scared as fuck. Excuse my language. I was so scared. The only reaction I could have was laughter, and I think that was the best protection, because if I was fearful, something bad could have happened to me. But because I laughed, and laughter is the highest vibration, I was protected. And I kid you not, that thing walked up to me. It walked up to me. The second it realized that I saw its true form, it walked over to me, and it stood so tall, and I said, bitch, we got dinosaurs? These motherfuckers lied and told us these niggas were extinct? I'm looking at a motherfucking dinosaur. I said, Lord have mercy. We've been living in Jurassic Park this entire time, and they didn't even, like, they wasn't hiding it. They was telling us that we've been living in Jurassic Park this entire time. I'm looking at a motherfucking raptor. Excuse my French. Staring back, the beak, everything. I said, this is a whole motherfucking dinosaur looking back at me. Are you fucking kidding me? You telling me that these dinosaurs, these ancient creatures died in an asteroid? Why the fuck am I looking at a dinosaur? Honestly, why am I looking at a dinosaur? I was scared as fuck, okay? But all I can do is laugh. My fear was laughter. That shit stood 12 feet tall, hovering over me. Still remember the slit in the beak with the little teeth and raptor. If you know what a raptor is, go look at it, okay? Because that's what it was. Standing above me, trying to inflict fear, but I couldn't really look at it. I kept looking away because I kept laughing, because I was so shocked, because I'm like, wow, Crazy was telling the truth. Crazy was telling the truth. This entire time, Crazy was telling the truth. And when it realized that it couldn't get me to fear, it walked away because fear wasn't working. And all I know, it got so cold in the classroom, like it changed the temperature. It's so cold. And then the window flew open, like as if something flew out the window. Now, when whatever that thing flew out the window, my reality, mind you, I was seeing two realities happen at the same time. Went back to the original reality where I was just looking at the hologram. And it looked at me. Well, she looked at me at this point. And I just looked at her and I laughed and I shook my head and I was like, you're a joke. Like, that's and they're telepathic. These beings are telepathic. And we made connection when we were talking through our minds. And I looked at her and I was like, you're a joke. The fact that you had to hide yourself and then try to, like, bring fear into me when you're the one hiding who you truly are, you're a joke. I will not fear you. And I laughed at her. She flunked me, by the way. I was supposed to get an A. She gave me a C in her class. You thought I was gonna confront that being? Girl, who was gonna confront that being? I took that C. I was like, I should have had an A in that class. But I took that C because I was like, when that bell rung, I ran for the hills. I left that class so fast. I said, oh, I gotta go tell Crazy. I gotta go tell Crazy. He was right. He was telling the truth this entire time. That he is right. That there's really dinosaurs out here. There's really reptilians, draconians, whatever you want to call them. They out here. They living amongst us. Because I was just like, there's no way. He was lying. There's no way. So I was leaving. And as I was leaving, I specifically remember there was this girl named Alexis Groom, which is another story. Go look her up on Google. She went missing. There's a whole story behind that. That's going to be in part 2 of the Hollywood crazy stories, mind you. And she was smoking a cigarette with somebody else. And they were just watching me. And it was like a weird watch. Like, it was like I broke through some secret door. And they knew I broke through that secret door. And like, she knew, she was in my classroom, by the way, and that's a whole nother story that I have to go into. But it was like she knew what I saw, and she was waiting for me to say something, and they were just like watching me. And I just remember like them watching me, and I was like, that's weird, why are they watching me? And I was like, I wonder if she saw what I saw. And then I kind of like walked away, and I went to go find Crazy so I could go tell Crazy what I saw. I was so scared. Let me tell you, I was so scared for 5 years to go to sleep at night. I had chronic insomnia because I was so afraid that they will take me and do something to me. I felt lost. I felt my entire reality just crumbled before me. I had no sense of, like, I was completely, as you can see, I'm like reliving it in my mind. Like, I was dumbfounded. I didn't know how to go back into society. I didn't know what I saw. I didn't know what was happening. Like, I was just like completely lost. And I was so afraid to literally close my eyes. I wouldn't go to sleep until the sun come up. And I would only sleep during the daytime. At nighttime, I would be so afraid that I would play the gospel music. I would be reading my Bible. I was terrified. I ran to Yahshua. Like, I ran to Christ. Like, I was that afraid. And the fear that I felt, because some people was like, well, why weren't you scared when you saw the beings, but you were scared after? That doesn't make sense. Because my whole reality, what I was told as a kid, that was no longer true. That is more scarier than seeing a scary monster, because your mind cannot comprehend another reality existing within a reality. So everything that you think you know, you don't know, and you have to unlearn everything to try to comprehend what you just saw. Which is why I know that your mind can create realities and you can jump to different timelines using your mind, because of what I saw. Because I was living in two realities at the same time. And every time that I saw this teacher, she didn't like me because I knew who she was now. My eyes was open. I was awake. Okay? I was awake. And she did not like me. But whenever I saw her, I was always around like people that loved me. So I was always surrounded and protected by love. So she couldn't really do any harm. And that's when I started learning about the draconians that's in LA, and they have a hidden underground civilization under LA. They have a huge tunnel. And I can get into that's a whole nother conversation. But that's when my reality burst. And I came back and I was telling everyone. And everybody in Hollywood knows about them. And when I was talking to my teacher, who's like my mentor, and he was actually the one who was actually getting me into Hollywood, because technically I should have been famous since 2018, but that's a whole nother story. Because listen, the rabbit hole gets deep. They had a whole future set up for me and who I was going to be and what I was supposed to do and what my agenda was. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But when I confronted him and I was like, why didn't you tell me? Like, why didn't you tell me what, you know? And he couldn't say anything. He just was quiet because he signed the oath. He did the oath. They're not allowed to talk about it when you do the oath. And I was like, you had me out here thinking that is glamorous. And it's not. So I was a little upset because I was like, you was about to have me out here thinking I was gonna become a superstar, be the next big thing. Meanwhile, these are reptilian beings, demonic raptors, dinosaur-looking ass beings. Behind the scenes, oh, y'all would have set me up. That was a whole setup right there. And that was the grace of God for those who don't believe in God, I believe in God because of that experience. That would have been a whole setup. I wouldn't even know how demonic and evil Hollywood is. And I'm gonna expose all of the truth, baby, because I do not care. People deserve to know what they're walking into. And nobody's gonna tell you about the draconians and the reptilians that's hiding behind Hollywood. They're not gonna tell you. Because the element of surprise is how they get you. They get you surrounded by a whole bunch of celebrities, and it's all glamorous. It's all beautiful. It's all glitz and glam. And then they start getting you going to the parties. Then they start getting you on drugs. And then after they get you on drugs, they start doing the rituals. Oh, it's okay. We all sleep together. It's fine. Oh, now you gotta start pricking your blood. Oh, now you gotta start doing rituals. Oh, we do tarot cards. Oh, we do moon rituals. Sounds so innocent, but that's how they get you. They get you little by little until you're surrounded and you're doing blood rituals with babies. And then once you're locked in, boom, the draconians come out and you have to obey because you're shocked. And they like to shock you. They like to scare you. And there was one teacher, and I would never forget it. My first quarter moving to California, he was the only teacher he was the only one who told us the truth. He said, if you think you're gonna go to Hollywood and you think it's gonna be glamorous and glitz, he's like, I'm telling you right now, your dreams are gonna be crushed. He said it's demonic, and people are doing rituals and they're killing babies. He was the only person who was 100%. But my teacher, who was my mentor, who I trusted, wasn't even gonna tell me what was in front of me. I had to find out by the grace of God, because God wanted to show me that if I was gonna walk that path, I needed to know what I was getting myself into. And Lord, they have never let this go, because I'm a seer. They never let this down. They didn't even let me try to do my last video. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm a seer. I know all of their secrets, and they hate me for that. They hate me because I know all of their secrets, and I will come roam around doing what the fuck I want because of that, because I know the truth. And I know it sounds crazy. Trust me, I live it. I lived it. I'm living it. So I know how crazy. But the truth is way stranger than fiction. And honestly, ignorance is bliss for a reason. Because once you unlock that door to the truth, you'll really realize how dark this world is. And you have to stay in the light. That's the only way you live above it. And it took me a long time to get me there. I suffered a long time. I can now sleep, right, peacefully. But for so long, I could not sleep. I was so scared. And they had people watching me. That's another thing. No matter where I went, no matter where I moved, they had military watching me, because they're the one who control the presidency. They're the one who control the Rothschild and all of that. The government, the deep shadow. They're the true rulers of the world. And the only way to explain it is if you ever watch The Invitation, the movie on Netflix. That gives you an idea of what the top tier of old money system runs and who's really behind it. These entities come in many forms. Some of them are draconians, which is reptilians. Some of them are hybrids. You know, they're humans, and some of them can shapeshift into, which is another story, because I have a whole bunch of them. But I just kind of wanted to get to this story to explain the rest of it. because though I had other phenomenal, like, weird paranormal stories previously, this one kind of like blew the lid off to all of the other experience that I have. And you know, it took me a long time to make peace with what I saw, and you know, like, living in a reality where I can see them now, just because, like, I acknowledge them. So in my reality I can see them, so it doesn't even matter. Yeah, like, it's just, I had them try to infiltrate my life, to date me, to try to get me to sleep with them, have babies by them. And this is not like no alien abduction, because I already could see some of these ignorant comments already, but they're look human. But because you're under a spell, and with the food that we eat, which is why you have to have a clean diet and fast for 2 weeks, literally sun up to sundown, water, and stay away from meat, you'll see them. And I can teach you how to see them if you want to see them, because that's a whole nother avenue. But it left a mark on me. It left a scar. But the scientist in me is always down for experiments. So I went to go search for the truth. I went to go search for who they are, what their weaknesses are. How do I make them shapeshift? Why can I see them? Why was I able to see them and nobody else in the classroom could see them? Like, I had a whole bunch of questions. And over time, I got my answers. But me telling this story is not for clout. It's not a trend. It's just that we live in a time now where people can actually receive the information and understand, because the veil's about to drop. Everybody's about to see it. And people like me who seen them and dealt with them, and who already been living in that reality with them coexisting in their true form, who will be the one helping other people cope with that mental collapse, because that's what is going to happen. It's going to be a global mental collapse when everybody can see the reptilians, and everybody's going to be freaked out. Everybody's going to freak out. It's going to be like Salem witch trial. You're a witch, you're a witch, you're a witch. Everybody's going to collapse. But the people who's been there, we're going to be, you know, we've what, how long has this been? Like 9 years since that incident happened. I accepted that reality. I accepted that, okay, we're not the only beings on this planet. And once you get to that conclusion, and you know what you're dealing with, and what they are, and how they operate, and how much power you have over them, then you know, like, you're fine. But the rest of the world, it's gonna be chaos, and they know it. They're ready for it. They're waiting for that, because they're ready to cipher that energy from people. But if you do watch this video and you're seeing it, I would recommend clean diet. Stay away from sugar. Like, go straight. And when I say diet, fruits and vegetable, anything with seeds in it. I wouldn't even, I mean, as far as protein, maybe fish, anything with scales. Stay away from crabs, stay away from shrimp, anything, octopus. Just stay clean. Fruits, vegetable, water. That's it. And watch how quickly you'll heal, you'll spiritually elevate, and then you'll start seeing them. But your mental state will be at a much positive aspect, that when the veil do drop and everybody see them on a global form, it ain't gonna affect you. But yeah, that's what the last Jurassic Park movie was about. I think it was like Jurassic World Domination, whatever that last movie was. But that's what that was basically about, because they have to tell you. It's universal law. They have to tell you before anything happens. So yeah, we're living with dinosaurs and they're fucking intelligent, okay? These Jurassic movies, they made it seem like, oh, they're fucking scary. Yeah, they are. They're fucking ugly to look at. Motherfucker are ugly. But they're so fucking intelligent. Like, you're dealing with an intelligent species. They don't tell you that part. They don't tell you how fucking smart and fucking advanced these beings are. These fucking dinosaurs are. They don't tell you that part. So, yeah. Element of surprise. Get ready for it. Part 2 coming out soon.
Baby, I thought that was a whole different parts. That was just one part. That was literally 27 minutes for one part. But we have the whole one part, okay? So y'all better be happy. That was a very interesting, intricate story. I believe her. Let me know in the comments if you believe her. That was a lot to unpack. Thank you, beautiful. We appreciate you. We appreciate that story, honey, okay? Go follow her, Diary of Steph Divers 96. I have never heard of her. I believe we may have seen her face before on our channel, but not into this depth of a story. It was just a quick, like, 2-5 minute story, whatever. But this one was almost 30 minutes. So I don't want to hear y'all mouth. You're welcome. Next video.
I promise you, when I catch you, let me tell you what I'm going to do.
I can have a boyfriend by in the morning.
A vigil took place tonight in memory of the shooting victim outside of the Westover Rec Center.
Investigators say she was shot and killed by her mother.
What? That says shot and killed by her mother. Does anyone know that story? We definitely got to go support that channel. Black Girl Unlost. Yes, blow it up. Like, share, comment, subscribe to that channel, okay? But you made it into another video. I think I said it wrong, but we're going to act like I said it right. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you. I love you dearly and deeply. Y'all are my love bugs, my honey buns, my soul tribe, okay? Tribe is with a Y because the Y is for you, and that's because I love you so freaking much. I appreciate y'all time, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Ashe.